Before we even get into the concept of self-coaching, define for us what it really means to coach.
Well, I think coaching is all about recognizing that your job is to help others achieve the potential they could never achieve without your support and help. So, coaching says, I care about you, and nobody's going to care about you until you care about them. Okay. But I think the way you do that is you give people yourself. You give a piece of yourself, a piece of your heart, a piece of your knowledge, and you show your commitment to them, and you try to help them build self-awareness so that they can make the decisions that they need to make that's going to accelerate their life and their career.
So then what are some questions we should be asking ourselves as we're starting the self-coaching journey?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing you have to do is have a conversation with yourself. So you ask the perfect question, okay? And I always say start out by writing out all the things that block the joy in your job and your life. What are your joy blockers? Okay? And then take the time to reflect and ask yourself, what gives you joy? Write those down. Then look at your joy blockers and your joy builders, and then look at how you're spending your life and your time. If you're spending your life in an area where your joy is being blocked most of the time, let's say you're a really creative person, but you're working in a very, left brain world, okay? You're probably not going to be that happy, and you're not going to be that fulfilled, and you're probably not going to do as great a job as you could do for the company you're in, okay, if you stay in that arena. So maybe you need to be looking in the company and say, hey, maybe I ought to go over here or whatever, okay? But I think that the understanding what truly gives you joy, I think really is the key. And making sure that you spend your life pursuing what gives you joy. There's a reason I love Warren Buffett. And why is Warren Buffett so successful? And he wrote a book, I think it's called, Tap Dance Your Way to Work. Okay. He loves what he's doing. It's joyful. He's curious. He loves investing. He loves meeting leaders. He loves understanding what's going on. He's curious. He has all of this energy around that thing. So when you find your joy and stay within your joy, okay, as to the best of your ability, and we all have to do things that we don't necessarily like at times. Your job is not a job. It's more of a hobby, and I think when you can make that happen, boy, you're on your way. So I think that's the first thing. And then, you got to say, okay, if this is what will give me joy, how do I get there? And then we ask people, what would be the single biggest thing you could do to start you along that journey? It might be, well, I'm going to go talk to people who are doing the jobs I like to do. I'm going to go do this, or I'm going to go do that. But getting to that single biggest thing, I think, is really key, because you want to take action. And you got to start by figuring out what's the single biggest thing I can do to get going and to make the change that's going to get me to where I want to go.